All right, how's it going, everyone? This is Jose Trujillo. Once again, I'm coming to you from my art studio, and I got my trusted Starbucks again. Oh man, I'm telling you, feels good. It feels good to do what you love, and also to drink some of that nice coffee. So. Today I'm going to do something slightly different as I'm bringing something, slightly new every time to the studio. To you guys, thank you so much for subscribing and liking the video. And it's awesome. That lets me know that there's hope in the world. No, that's awesome. It lets me know that some of you guys out there appreciate the content that I'm bringing, and that's cool to know. It drives me to continue to do it. Today I'm going to do something like I mentioned, slightly different. I'm going to do a figure. I did a figure, of course, in the past video, but today I'm going to do a flamenco dancer. So I hope you guys really like it. Hope you guys enjoy it, and here we go, okay? And as you know, I love using this technique. I don't know if it's a technique or not or whatever, but doing this sort of deal. Okay, this is kind of like my je ne sais quoi type of deal. Okay, and I hope that you guys find it also awesome for you guys. If you guys are into it, well, that makes me feel very fortunate to know that some of you guys are into some of my crazy stuff right here. I mean, I'm not the only cat doing this. I know I'm not. I know there's plenty of people painting, in this sort of deal. What some people refer to as loose brushwork or abstract realism or impressionist, whatever the deal is. I know there's plenty of us in the pool, but I'm glad to be one of them. Okay. Un poco de flamenco. Why not, right? And let's get our light coming from this direction, probably. Yeah. Right. Something like that. All right. Let me tie my shoes. I don't know why. I don't know why my shoes get untied. I'm like a grown man, and this kind of shit still happens. All right. Here we go. So sometimes I tell you guys that I start with. I mean, first of all, I'm not. I just want to say I'm not an instructor because I feel like some of you are like, dude, this cat's not an instructor at all. I'm not, in case you're wondering, I'm not an instructor at all. I do my deal, you know. I've painted for I don't know, it feels for a long time, but it has been a long time. It's been over plus 20 years. And I just, you know, I like to also record my process, you know, my progress, because I know that I feel anyways that some people might benefit from it, you know. I don't know, maybe not, but from what I'm listening, from what I'm listening, from what I'm hearing, no, from what I'm reading on the comments, you guys tend to be pretty cool with it. So for the most part, you know, so that's awesome. Now, I told you guys about the other videos I've done, how I move, how you want to keep moving. This doesn't stop, okay? Don't let the brush stand still for too long. For whatever it is that you do, don't let it stand still for too long, because it'll start thinking that it'll start thinking. That's really the problem. It'll start thinking. You don't want it to start thinking. Okay? You really don't want it to start thinking. The brush will do it. The brush will start thinking. And it's really in this type of painting, what really happens is that you are almost, for me, right? It's almost like you're not necessarily just painting. You're almost carving, to put it in different words. You're almost carving your way into the image. And I believe one of the reasons is because it's so spontaneous, you know. If it wasn't spontaneous, then yeah, I would be like, you know, let me do the eyes, let me do this, let me do that. But because it's so spontaneous, and that's the way I like it, that's I mean, Impressionism, right? Unless you're doing something else. It makes a lot of sense to me, anyways, to keep the brush moving. Yeah. It does. Okay. It does make a lot of sense. And now that I got that, let's move on. Bam, bam, bam. No, I'm just joking. Sometimes I'm a little faster. Sometimes I'm a little slower. Just depends on what I'm trying to depict. You know, just sometimes. Some of it is a lot intuitive. Some of it, you know, it requires a bit sort of well, it's all very intuitive, but some of it is more you know, the thing is, here's the thing, guys, here's really what I'm trying to say, because I'm painting and I'm not really thinking. I'm just kind of trying to create some commentary at the same time. The trick here, I don't know if you've seen or not. It's not really a trick, but if you want to call it that, the trick is that you don't want to lift the brush up that much from the canvas, right? And everybody paints different. This is how I do it. This is what I've learned. This is kind of like what I swear by this. People are like, I swear by this. You don't want to lift you don't want to lift the brush off of the canvas, because the moment that you do that, now what has happened in that moment now is that you are, once again, you need to place it, if I make any sense. Now you need to retarget it, is what I'm trying to say. That's really what I'm trying to explain here. The moment that you do that, then you need to retarget it, and it's smoother. It works smoother if you continue rather than retargeting. It works a lot smoother. It helps the process run smoother. It's sort of like when I used to. You keep it close. Is what I'm trying to say. I'm not making shit of sense today. I don't think I ever make much sense, but maybe today's a little worse. No, I do make some sense. Here's the thing. I used to work in interior remodeling. I don't know if some of you have seen some of the videos. I think I mentioned that. And my brother had a business, a small business going on with interior remodeling, and I used to help him. He used to train me, and excellent worker. Not just at that, but his work ethic, the way he worked, I used to love it. I used to see him. I used to love. When you like just seeing someone work. Well, that was my brother for me. So when he was training me, we were doing some tile because we did everything, all kinds of interior remodeling, right? And at the time we were doing some tile, and I remember him telling me, "It's like you don't want to do it," And I was like, no, I do. He wasn't scolding me really. He was very good at teaching, but he was trying to he wanted to drive his point home. I tend to do that sometimes here with you guys. He really wanted to hammer that point, So he used to be like, no, it's like you don't want to do it. I used to be like, what are you talking about, man? I want to do it. I want to learn how to how to do this. I want to do it right. I want to please the boss, And he used to tell me, no, look, all your tools are so far away from you that every time you need something, you get up and you have to come back to it. And little stuff like that, it's what I've applied to painting, really. What he was trying to point at is that I was too what do you call it? I was too concerned with doing the work right that I wasn't that I missed, like the elephant in the room, doing the work, like actually doing the work. And I know that it might not seem like something like it makes some sense, like what I'm trying to say, guys, but it made a lot of sense to me, and I applied it to my painting, and today I still apply things that I've learned from very serious workers, people that what I mean by that is everyone can be a serious worker, but people of trade workers. I'm not saying that other people are not serious. but trade workers tend to have this because time is money, so they become very I don't know what the word is. If you guys know what the word is, please write it down in the comments. But they get good at it because time is money, so they have to be very prolific and they have to get their stuff right, that kind of thing. So I used to love seeing that, and I apply some of that stuff for my own painting adventures. So one of those things, now that I've made this story super long, one of those things, guys, is this. Look, do not disconnect the brush. Try not to do it, because chances are that, and this is this way of painting, right? I know that there's 1,000, 1,000,000 ways of painting. I'm talking about me, what has worked for me, and I'm sharing it, as a artist to artist sort of thing, right? And a lot of people covet their things, their je ne sais quoi. I don't. I like to share my stuff. I think it's important for all of us to. We're all in a journey, so I think it's important for all of us to share and grow. But this is one of those things, that I learned there. You have to be able to make it easier, to make it better for yourself. You can't always operate the same way. You have to be able to find that. And it's not going to come up because of, we all have it. We all have that thing, It's not going to come off. It's not going to come up just because you're like, oh man, I have to find out, what am I doing? No, it's little stuff like are you painting, on a daily basis? Little stuff like that. It's not major stuff. And if you're not, because you don't have time or whatever, or whatever other thing, because life, right? Are you sketching maybe on a daily basis? And if you're not, well, are you, what are you doing on a daily basis? Maybe you don't even have time on a daily basis to sketch, but maybe you can see a video, take a class, or I don't know. That's what I'm talking about. And I think that the whole 10,000 hours is, I don't know for other artists, okay? Maybe I'm too stupid, I don't know. But the whole 10,000 hour thing, I live by it. Maybe it didn't take me 10,000 hours. Maybe it took me, I don't know, 50,000. I don't know. I don't even know if that's possible. Maybe it's taking me more, Maybe I'm not as bright as some people out there, I don't know. But I swear by it. It comes down to practice. Some people, I feel like what happens with many people, and this certainly happened to me, is that we want to get it right first. I heard this many times from different artists and other type of creatives that are not necessarily painters or different types of artists. I heard this many times. It goes something like this: get it right, and then do whatever you want with it. I heard this so many times, and really, it's one of those things that's like, really, like, who taught you that? Where'd you hear that? It's it really, I believe that it comes from the place of some people bashing on abstract art, or You know, it really comes from, I think, I don't know, from the whole idea that if you don't first learn how to paint realism, then you don't really, you know, understand art, you know, or if you don't have your ABCs, or, you know, of course you want to have fundamentals, of course you want to be able to, you know, understand some, whatever it is that you need, you know, from art. But many people talk about this idea, and it really, I don't really think that it does anyone any good, except maybe the people that are trying to to pass that idea. I don't know. But I heard this so many times. I don't know if you guys heard stuff like that, but they're like, get it right, and then you can mess around with it, you know. And then you can, you know, essentially you're not really doing it right. But if you learn how to do it right, at least you have our permission, you know. You have our what is it they call it? You have our blessing. You have our blessing. That kind of thing, you know. And it's like, really? Excuse me? You mean I first need to prove to you that I can do something, and then I have to do whatever I want. It's sort of like the rite of passage. It happens a lot in art, you know, believe it or not. It does happen. It is out there. It is out there. And sadly, I think, because it's another one of those things that I like to point to and say, you know, these are they're stoppers. They're really stoppers. They're there to slow you down. They're there to maybe even prevent you from moving. You know, some artists don't even like seeing other artists. You know, there's so much of that, sadly, right? But you know, you gotta keep positive. There's so much of that, like oh, your lighting is wrong, or you know, little stuff like that, and it's not conductive to really excelling and you know, helping one another, and you know, being a real pal. A real pal. Something like that, you guys. I think that the reason why I talk about stuff like this is because there's already so much going against you as an artist. There's already so much going against you. You know, you're talking about I'm not even just talking about sales and the gallery and this and that. You know, I'm not even going to mention that, because that alone is enough for anyone to be like, oh no, forget this, I'm going back to my day job. You know, there's already so much of that if you don't set your eyes in the positive, in the positive aspects of not just being an artist but being a human being, you know, like I said, there's already so much, right, going against the artist, that gotta keep positive. And I do believe that we all have a, you know, as much as you want to paint like someone else, or as much as you want to learn or whatever, you end up with you. No matter where you go, you end up with you, unless you're doing like a stroke by stroke copy, and that's different, right? That's like something that is I'm not talking about that. That's something completely different. But let's say that you want to, I don't know, reproduce a painting by not reproduce, but what do they call it? like a homage, one of those in Spanish you say homenaje, that you're like, man, I love Van Gogh so much. I'm going to interpret Van Gogh with how I know, to paint, like Van Gogh and other artists did, of the artists that they love so much, like Camille Corot and all these guys. And let's say that you want to do something like that, right? It's so funny because it still comes off as you. I think Van Gogh did some paintings like Delacroix, and you look at the paintings and you're like, man, this is so funny that no matter how he was like, oh yeah, I'm going to paint that, it was still Van Gogh. There's no escape. And I think many people, I certainly used to get upset when I was younger. I used to be like, oh man, how come I can't do it? And now I'm like, dude, be quiet. It's a blessing. It's a blessing that you get to paint like you. Like no matter where you go, no matter where you, no matter what you do, you will always be followed by you. And that is a blessing. That's a blessing in itself. No matter what you do, you will always be you. You could try to do whatever you want. You could try to paint, the Last Supper, and there is no escaping you. That's what's beautiful about art, I think. It's your point of view. It's like I mentioned before. It really is your point of view, Ever since I was younger, I always painted like if I was on a caffeine rush, I always painted and no matter what I did, and I tried to suppress that. I really did try to suppress that. Other people would tell me, no, you're doing it wrong, or you're getting the your lighting is off, stuff like that. And I'd be like, I don't know, I see the lighting there. The lighting seems perfect there. Something, And as time goes by, you start listening to yourself more rather than other people so much. You start trusting yourself. There's something powerful in trust. In true trust, not in being, trying to pretend like you know everything. No, but in true trust, and the trust in yourself. I started realizing, man, I feel like I'm listening to everyone but me. Like, what's going on here? And that's when I saw. Well, it wasn't a one event thing, so I'm not going to make up a story that it was a one event. It wasn't a single event, but it was a series of things that made me realize, oh man, one after another, one punch after another. It's like, oh, I get it. I'm really supposed to be doing me. I get it. And it sometimes it takes. I'm going to retract now. I'm going to go back to where I started. Okay. No matter what things look like for you at this moment, I want to be the person in this moment to tell you it's all right. It's part of the journey. It really is part of the journey. You are. It's many times what happens with us is that we get stuck in a place of I might not be good enough yet. This is what continues to haunt the artist, I think, and I think that it's because the work never stops. But it's not because you're not good enough. It's because it continues to unfold. I think that's why it never stops. It continues to unfold. So with the artist, I think, I really do believe this. Actually, it happens often with all of us. What happens is that we get confused because we learn something and then we tell ourselves, "Oh man, how little did I know?" No, it's not that you knew little. It's that it continues to unfold. See, whatever you were doing, I don't know. Whatever you were doing 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever, whatever stage of artwork you've been creating, that was the place where you needed to be. And what I'm going at is that many times we get upset because we're not where we, quote unquote, let me see my quotes, need to be. But you are where you need to be. And sometimes it's very hard to accept that. If you don't know something, it's because you don't know it. And there's nothing that can stop that. There's absolutely nothing that is going to stop that. You don't know it, and that's, period. End of that. You don't know something, you don't know it. I know it sounds so stupid. It's like, did I get it? But for me, it's been a ride to arrive to that. Because sometimes we get caught up in oh man, how did I miss that? Well, because you didn't know it. But I was so stupid. How come I didn't pay attention to that? Well, because you didn't know better. One sure way of stepping away from that, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, is to search out people that have been there, done that. It'll be very very good. Whether it's painting. Now, I'm not telling you to go and learn everything from them or shadow them, or whatever. If your desire is to do that, that's fine. But what I am telling you is that it's always best to seek out people who have already done it. Let's say that you want to be a portrait artist. Seek out someone who's done it already. And maybe you won't learn necessarily how to paint that, or maybe you will. Maybe I don't know. It doesn't hurt. But maybe what could happen out of that is that he or she could tell you what do's and don'ts. That way you're not on that journey alone. Now you have someone, a mentor, or now you have someone to tell you, hey, I did that and this is what happened, something like that. I don't know. I'm just making up stuff. Anyways, looks like I'm having a lot of thought in this face. Remember thought? Stay away from thought. Sometimes I don't. You see, sometimes I don't drink my own juice. I keep telling you guys. All right, let's go. It's a daily reminder. It doesn't happen every single time, but I'm golden if I like right now I was like, oh, I'm thinking, I'm thinking. So therefore, what has to happen? Okay, well, paint, don't think. Oh, okay, paint, don't think. Okay, I'm thinking. What do I need to do? Okay, well, paint, don't think. I know it sounds crazy, guys, but this is the practice. This is the practice. This is my practice, anyways. Because as an artist, you have I think, have what do they call it? You have things that you're learning. You're really learning how to observe without thinking. That's really what's happening. In my opinion, you're learning how to observe without thinking, and that is that's the job of the artist. You learn to observe without thinking. Once that gets in there, then it's a daily reminder. It's a constant reminder to remove it because it has no place in art. What thought wants to do is it wants to take over and it wants to analyze. Right? That's my chant. It wants to analyze. If that's your cup of tea, cool. That's not mine. I don't want it. I don't want to analyze. I'm not doing math. I'm not doing critical thinking. I'm not conceptualizing. I'm painting. Let me see, what else? The name is Jose Trujillo, the world's greatest artist. I'm sorry that today I made less sense than usual. Maybe I've been thinking a little bit more, but see, this is what happens. But nevertheless, I continue to go on my journey. This is an artist's journey into becoming a better artist. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. The name is Jose Trujillo, and let me sign my painting right here. Take care now, and I hope you guys come by the next one. Bye-bye.